was the tribute video that was narrated by my friend Chelsea Clinton at the Denver convention, the Democratic National Convention in 2008. I worked on the Hillary Clinton for President campaign in 2008 when I was 16 years old. Believe it or not, I am still not 16. I might look it, but I swear to you, I am almost 24. And that was my last memory, really, of the ending of what was the Hillary Clinton for President campaign in 2008. So thank you. Thank you all so much for being here today as we share in this wonderful opportunity to move both America and Florida forward in the years ahead of the presidential election cycle of 2016. I wanted to also take a moment to personally thank the president of the Democratic Women's Club of Pasco County, my friend Jude Keener, for asking me to be here with all of you today to speak on behalf of Ready for Hillary, and why it is so important, after many of the losses that we common sense Democrats suffered in 2014, that we move forward, that we organize, and that we win in 2016. In the process, shattering that highest and hardest glass ceiling for women and girls, and elect the woman at the helm of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pantsuits movement. That is Hillary Clinton as the 46th and the first woman president of the United States of America. I also, of course, wanted to thank Florida House of Representatives State Rep. Amanda Murphy, who represents District 36, for her very important work moving Florida forward and fighting for the core democratic principles and values that we all believe in this room, and being one of the very few, I cannot believe it's 39, that's horrible, one of the very few common sense voices of reason in Tallahassee for our families, our seniors, our veterans, and countless others all across our state, who is not afraid to stand up and push back against the special interests and the issues that affect our pocketbooks of Florida's families, like Duke Energy. So thank you for actually standing up and being accountable. Of course, as June had stated, my name is Aaron Darr, and I am a founding member and the Florida State Coordinator for Ready for Hillary. I also serve, as I was just appointed to this position yesterday, I'm very excited about it. I also serve as the region lead for the newly formed Millennial Council to Ready for Hillary, which serves as a fundraising team of young people who will fight for Hillary Clinton and put into place an important fundraising and field operation should she decide to run for president in 2016. I was also notified last week, I was shocked, that I was top 5 of organizers in the entire country for Ready for So we are way ahead of most of the other states here in Florida, and I'm really happy about that because I would love to screw over Jeb Bush in the way that his brother screwed over. I'm very proud of that, and I hope to continue that work when we elect Hillary Clinton as president in 2016. Now, who in this room, by show of hands, is ready for Hillary? Awesome, good, I'm in good company, perfect. Who's heard of Ready for Hillary before today? Good, I'm doing my job. You know, I was ready for Hillary in 2008, and I am still ready for Hillary in 2016. I've worked very much so closely with Ready for Hillary for over 2 years now, where my travels have taken me everywhere, from Florida to New York, from Pennsylvania to that very important caucus state of Iowa, from Ohio to Georgia, from Amsterdam to Paris and beyond. And I will tell you, when I was in Amsterdam in November, it was wonderful because I could actually talk about Barack Obama without being stoned to death by Republicans in the state of Florida. They love him over there. And it truly was remarkable. So Ready for Hillary, what is Ready for Hillary? Ready for Hillary is, of course, a super PAC, a grassroots movement of over 3 million passionate and committed Americans who wished to draft Hillary Clinton to run for president in 2016. We are organizing and putting into place an infrastructure for Hillary to run should she decide to do so. Our goal was to make this hard choice an easy choice for Secretary Clinton. Now, of course, electing Hillary Clinton as president in 2016 is not just an effort, believe it or not, on behalf of Americans. It is a shared opportunity and a global effort on behalf of the world's women and girls to press into the unexplored reservoir of potential that women and girls share when the women and girls of the world have every opportunity, as Chelsea Clinton had said, to live up to their own God-given potential. You see, America electing a woman president sends a message that is very loud, and it sends a message that is very clear. It sends a message that will ripple across America and nations all across our globe, that when women and girls are fully able and equal to participate in society and government, not only do women and girls do better, most importantly, and I wish more men would realize this, our families do better. Economies do better. Nations and governments do better when women are fully equal and represented, have a seat at the table, and have a voice in the choices that the world makes and goes through in deciding how we move forward the ideas that help to shape the fabric of our lives. Now, as I was saying earlier, I was just 16 years old when I worked on what was my first campaign, which was the Hillary Clinton for President campaign in 2008 in the battleground state of Ohio. As many of you can recall, what a historic campaign it truly was, and what an energizing and exciting time it became when America went on to elect its first African-American president, Barack Obama. In the process, of course, of that hard-fought, very, very long, much longer than I care to remember, Democratic primary for president, we put over 18 million cracks in that highest and hardest glass ceiling that has been waiting to be shattered for over 7 years now. In some ways, for me personally, I feel as if the 2008 campaign never ended because of Secretary Clinton's unwavering commitment to public service and making the world a better place. So she picked herself up and she did just that. She made the world a better place. Now, we are all here today because someone or something or Junkie inspired you to get off of the sidelines. We are all here today because we believe in our country and the belief that we must strengthen the basic bargain of America. Now, you all know what that is. It's the idea that no matter who you are, where you live, or who you love, if you work hard and you play by the rules, you deserve the opportunity, the same opportunity as anyone else, Democrat, Republican, rich or poor, to make a good life for yourself, your children, and your family while moving forward the middle class and uplifting people out of poverty. That is what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. You see, Hillary believes in what we can all do together when we work together. When we fight together to strengthen the promise of America, our can-do spirit, and our ability to meet any challenge and solve any problem. Hillary has taught me, as I think she has probably taught a lot of us in this room, that when you get knocked down, you get back up, you brush yourself off, and you keep on fighting. That isn't the only way in which Secretary Clinton has lived her life, both in public and in private, but it is also the American way in which we all go through in fighting to grasp the economic potential and opportunity that America offers in the 21st century. When you get knocked down, yes, even in a hard-fought Democratic primary for president, you get back up, you keep pushing forward to make the world a better place, and again, Hillary Rodham Clinton has done just that. Whether it be Hillary's time working as an attorney at Rose Law Firm in Arkansas, to her time working and improving public education system within Arkansas as First Lady of Arkansas, to her time working at the Children's Defense Fund in New York City and serving on the board of HIPPY to ensure that children have access to educational opportunities and after-school programs that focus on and nourish early childhood development and the future minds of children and the adults that they will one day become. I thought it was very interesting. I did not know this until last year. Hillary Clinton was appointed to the board of HIPPY in 1986 by former Florida State Senator Nan Rich. So there's a lot of history between those two women. Nan had told me that because I very proudly voted for Nan Rich for governor of Florida in the Democratic primary for governor. Then, of course, Hillary's work as First Lady of the United States of America, where she worked closely with the Clinton administration, or as they call that guy in the video, Hillary's husband, to focus on initiatives that would grow and strengthen the middle class, while implementing programs and initiatives that focused on reproductive health care, early childhood development, the harsh human reality that is income inequality, for which, if you remember, the Clinton administration went on to raise the minimum wage twice. Because both Bill and Hillary Clinton believe that as the cost of living goes up, it's common sense. So should someone's wage, so you're not continuously falling behind. Now, she also tried to go after this thing called universal health care. Yeah. I was just 4. I was 4 years old when Hillary Clinton tried to implement the progressive ideal of universal health care. I was raised by a single mom, so I remember growing up, my mom always pointing to that woman on TV and saying, she's going to be president one day, watch. And I loved it because that was the first campaign that I had actually worked on. But think about that. I was 4 years old. Now, where were all of you? Think about it. Speaking of which, of course, I would like to applaud President Obama, and of course, but who else? The Democrats, for fighting for an issue and working for the American people and delivering on a promise of change that is the Affordable Care Act. Amanda knows this. I did not know this until I just came back from Wakulla County. I just did a similar Ready for Hillary event up there, which I was very glad they threw out a Tea Party congressman and elected Gwen Graham. Yes. One of 2 Democrats in this past election cycle. But, there are more people enrolled in the Affordable Care Act in the state of Florida than any other state. Guess. What state is number 2? Texas. Oh, that drives me nuts. Isn't it funny how some people just decide to vote against their own interests? Yeah. But if you look at it, joking aside, you look at it, the 6 states in last November that decided to raise the minimum wage went heavily Republican.
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It's like Jeb Bush being running for president. It makes no sense. He should have focused on some Common Core because he might have learned something. Of course, after being First Lady of the United States, we all know that Hillary then went on to become a United States Senator, representing the great people of New York in the Senate, where she worked across the aisle time and time again to move legislation forward that would put into place a level economic playing field for our families, our seniors, our veterans, young people, women and children, and future generations of children, while additionally serving on numerous committees, such as the Foreign Relations Committee, and working with incoming Democrats, both in the United States House and the United States Senate, to ensure that she nurtured and helped to guide the future political minds of some of America's newest and greatest public servants. One of those individuals, of course, being then Senator from Illinois, who I have grown to love, of course, Barack Obama, which then leads me to that hard-fought Democratic primary for president and those 18 million cracks in that highest and hardest glass ceiling for women and girls. Having worked on that campaign and seeing Hillary grow as both a candidate and a human being, I know that Hillary never forgot where she came from. Of course, being the product of a middle-class family and fighting for and championing the core democratic principles and values that we all stand for in this room today. Although, of course, our campaign had fell short of our ultimate goal of clinching the Democratic nomination for president, Hillary brushed herself off, and she worked harder than anyone else, President Clinton included, having campaigned 73 times. I've never heard of anyone doing that. 73 times to ensure that America then went on to elect Barack Obama as the 44th President of the United States of America.
Classy lady.
Yes. Of course, upon President Obama's election in 2008, Hillary, in return, would become the 67th Secretary of State, where she would help to restore our standing in the world and restore the trust that had been broken and battered by, you guessed it, the Bush administration. As many nations and countries universally look to America to lead the way economically and in terms of foreign relations and the hard choices that are made in an ever-changing political climate and global world. Now, Hillary would strengthen sanctions on Iran. She would broker a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in November of 2012. Of course, then that led to the opening of Myanmar, which led to the freeing of over 2,000 political prisoners in Myanmar who wanted to have a say, a voice, and vote in their government. People who are dying for the right to be able to participate and have a say in the choices that shape the fabric of our lives, which is something that I hope that we do better here in the state of Florida in 2016, and that is turning out the vote. Of course, she did all of this while fighting for true peaceful and pragmatic diplomacy and security decisions and concerns that the United States had gone through in the first 4 years of the Obama administration. All of this while fighting for human rights, women's rights, and yes, even gay rights, and bringing voice to the millions of women and girls all over the world who believe in Hillary and what she will one day become. With over 1 million miles logged and a roster of over 112 countries visited, Hillary Clinton, she holds the record, became the most traveled Secretary of State in United States history, which speaks to her amazing stamina, and I have to say, her age. Her wonderful age, because as you can see if you listen to Rush Limbaugh, she's brain dead. So I don't know how she could just keep trucking on, but of course they're going to say what they're going to say. I think it might be the other way around with Rush.
Yes, exactly.
He just hasn't realized it yet. He's still going rogue.
He's still on drugs.
But this is, of course, why so many are joining this movement to ensure that America elects a leader and a president who is ready on day one. You see, America faces such significant and trying times and challenges, not just at home, but of course also abroad. All too often, we hear of many Americans who are struggling to make it in a tough economy that seems to have been rigged against them. People living paycheck to paycheck, having to choose between rent and groceries, utility bills and healthcare costs, but still hoping to have a little money left over at the end of the month to, care for themselves, their children, and their families. That's what so much of this has been about, and the families whose homes have gone into foreclosure, to the men and women who work day and night just trying to pay the bills, hoping to get by, but hope that they don't get sick because they still can't afford health insurance. For the young people who can't afford to go to college to pursue their own dreams, the seniors, and of course our veterans who are continuously being denied health care, in part because of a lack of closing the coverage gap, Medicaid expansion, and many around the country, most of them Republicans, who are cutting pensions and the veterans' benefits and Social Security of our seniors and those who have served our great nation.
Disgusting.
That is what this and today is all about. This is not just for me, but this is for the millions all across our nation. In just a short period of time, as Amanda was saying, Florida and the rest of America will have a very important choice to make. A choice between the guardians of gridlock or the champions of shared opportunity and shared prosperity. A chance to elect leaders, Democrats, of course, who will carry on and put forth the democratic standard that is fair to every American, every senior, every family, every single mom, every veteran, every young person, every child, so we all have the chance to live up to our own God-given potential while fighting to grasp the idea of the American dream. This is our chance. This is our chance to elect a leader who believes in hard-working families and that the economy should work for everyone, not just the wealthiest of Americans and not just the 1%. this is our chance. This is our chance to elect a leader who believes that women should be able to make their own healthcare decisions and believes the common sense principle